Knights of the Sand long ago, when the Arab tribes migrated behind the clouds and settled where there was grass and water, there lived a sheikh named Rakan bin Nafel, a man feared by the desert as much as by men. He was wise, long-suffering, speaking only when the silence needed a voice to break it with wisdom. Rakan had an only son, Salem, who grew up in tents and under the shadow of swords. But his heart was inclined toward thought, not chivalry, toward letters, not war. He meditated a lot, staring at the stars as if searching for something unseen, and often wondering about the meaning of living one's entire life chasing rain and fearing invasion. One night, as the people gathered around the fire, Salem said in a clear voice, "Why do we continue to live among the sands? Isn't it time for us to change, to become different from what we are accustomed to? Aren't we, the Arabs, the ones who taught the world eloquence? How can we not seek a life broader than tribal conflict?" Knights of the Sand, some of the men grew angry, and silence fell, but Rakan didn't get angry. Instead, he looked at him deeply and said, "If you want to understand life, Salem, leave it. Walk far away and come back to me if you find the answer." Salem complied and left his homeland, carrying his provisions in a pouch, his sword in its sheath, and his heart filled with unanswered questions. He crossed the deserts and went to the Levant, entering its cities, reading its books, and sitting with its scholars. He learned philosophy, memorized poetry, and saw what no Bedouin had ever seen before. But something in his heart remained drawn to the sand, to the tribe's fire, and to his father's face, silent as a mountain. Salem returned 2 years later changed. He was no longer as stubborn as he had been. Instead, he was calm, his eyes concealing more than they revealed. He returned to find his tribe engaged in a dispute with another tribe over a camel that was said to have transgressed the boundaries of the land. Everyone was preparing for battle. Swords were being sharpened and blood was about to be shed. Salem stood in the middle of the crowd and shouted, "Do you shed blood for a camel? Do you trade wisdom for fanaticism? Whoever kills for the sake of the land may lose it all in a moment of anger." The people were shocked, and a whisper spread among them. Rakan's voice was coming from his son's mouth, but with a new spirit. At that moment, the sheikh knew his son had matured. Years passed, Rakan died, and Salem carried the banner after him. But he was not just a warlord, but a thinker. He established a council to teach poetry and reading, and said to his sons, "The sword is not held in a trembling hand, and the mind does not shine in a dark heart." The tribes began to come to him for advice, just as they had come to his father. But they found something else in him, a blend of the old and the new, the scent of fire and the fragrance of books. In a time of frequent wars, it was said of the Bani Suhail, "They are a people who ride horses, but their minds walk on an unquenchable light."